Hello, Disney families. Can you believe that we are 5 months into our 2020-2021 school year? With that being said, our students have been working extremely hard, both in their Zoom classrooms and in their independent work time. And so it is time for us to assess our students to determine all of the wonderful growth that they have made. So we want to give this little presentation on how we can help you and your student be successful for the upcoming iReady diagnostics. You'll notice that the reading diagnostic window will open January 19th, next Tuesday, and the math diagnostic will begin on Monday, January 25th. The purpose of this presentation is for you as a parent to understand the reason why we take the diagnostics, and also you can share that information with your students just as the teachers are saying that in their classrooms. It also allows you as the parent to know what to expect of what this test will look like virtually, maybe some tips that might be successful for your students, and then some goal setting activities to do with your child at home. So the first question we oftentimes hear is, why are we taking the iReady diagnostic again? We hear that from parents and family members as well as our students. So we want to remind you that the last time you took the iReady diagnostic was in September, and you had been on summer break for 6 to 8 weeks at that point in time. And so we wanted to see what you had remembered from the previous year. Now you've been in school for 5 months and you have been working hard along with your family members and your teachers. So it's important for us to see where you are at as far as your academic levels go and how we can keep moving you forward to be successful. So remember, the diagnostic tells us a couple of different things. One of the things it helps us is it lets us know what the students know already. What have they mastered? The next portion is, what are the students ready to learn? Are they ready now to start putting some of those vowel sounds into words? Are they ready to move on to some longer reading comprehension passages? Are they available to go ahead and maybe do some complex multiplication problems or word solving? So it helps us know what our students are ready to learn at an individual level. And finally, and one of the most important reasons we need the iReady diagnostic is we want to make sure that the students are using their independent learning time as successful as possible. So remember, students are doing the iReady lessons during their independent structured learning block time. And during this time, the students, we want to be able to solve or work through these reading comprehension and math activities on their own. So it's important for us to get a true and accurate example of what they know at that time. So when they take their online test, after they take the assessment, the students will get new lessons. So you will see that they may have a new lesson up here after they take their diagnostic next week. Now remember that we want to make sure that the students try their best, that they do it independently on the diagnostic. So that way the online lessons will match what they need to learn. This allows the students to learn at a level that is appropriate for them, meaning it's not too difficult, but it's also not too easy for them. So how does the iReady diagnostic work? Well, the first thing you need to know is that it is adaptive. And what that means is that as the students answer the questions, they may see harder questions. The questions will change as the test progresses. So they're going to encounter questions they don't know how to answer, and that is okay. We want to make sure that our students know that. This test is finding out what they know, what they need to know, and what they don't need to know right now. And that is acceptable. So it's important to remind your students that some questions will be hard, some questions will be easy, and then some questions will be just right. And we want them to be in this just right area on their diagnostic, so their online lessons are reflective of that. So, when they are taking the diagnostic, you might see a question that looks like this. And I wanted to give you some hints in case your student is confused or struggling on how to take the test. Anytime that they see a microphone button, they can go ahead and click on it, and the question or the passage will be read to them. As the students progress and are presented with harder comprehension passages, the microphone will disappear. And that's intentional. That allows the test to determine, do they need help with the reading the concept, or can they read it on their own? They then will be posed possibly a question, and they may have three different choices to pick from. Be very careful and make sure that as they progress, sometimes the reading passages are on one page and they have to go to the next page to answer the question. So if your student gets stuck, make sure that they have looked at what the directions are asking them to do. So, why do we want to take it right now? Because we want to remind you that we need to know what they have learned while they've been at home and in virtual class, and what are they ready to continue learning. So, it's very important that we get an accurate score on this diagnostic. So, how can a parent or a family member support their child? Well, first off, the students are going to need to have a quiet place to take the assessment. So, please look at where they are doing their schoolwork on that particular day. Is there a way for them to find a quiet area? Maybe we can postpone turning on the TV during this assessment time. Maybe we can remove ourselves as the adult, if necessary, into another room so that they have a quiet area. Please make sure that your student has scratch paper and pencil. Remember, if you don't have those supplies, please come into the office and pick up another journal. However, most students should have a journal and pencils based on the last distribution that we handed out prior to the holiday break. And most important, please offer words of encouragement, but not the answers. We want to see what the students can do on their own. Here are some helpful tips to remind your students that for math, please encourage them to show their work. Whether they think they can do it in their head or not, whenever we take an assessment, we want to make sure that we are double checking our work. And one way to do that is to show our work. For reading, please remind our students to read or listen to each passage very carefully. Remember, they can go back and reread it when they encounter a question they are struggling with, and that's a good strategy to use. And finally, to check their work before they move on to the next question or before they submit their assessment. So, as they are taking their test, the student may get frustrated, the student may rush, the student may move too slow. Here are some sample statements of what you can tell your child to encourage them without giving them the answer. So students respond so well, as parents, you know this, they respond so well to positive comments. So let them know, great work. You have been working so hard. I'm so proud of you. Oh, I like how you're showing your work or reading each passage very carefully. And if you see that it is a student is rushing, meaning moving too quickly through the assessment, then you might just want to remember to take your time, slow down, try your best. Sometimes we see our students that are off task or tend to lose concentration very easily. So, a great idea might be to remind them, it's okay to get stuck on this problem. Do your best and go on to the next question. Because remember, the test will present the students with some questions they cannot answer. Maybe if they're starting to feel mad or frustrated, you can let them know, wow, that's a totally advanced question. It means that you've gotten a lot of answers correctly already. Remember, just do your best. Don't get frustrated. So, those are some strategies that you can use instead of providing them with the answer to help them move forward. Here are some other great strategies too. Now, when a student specifically says, I need help, here are some ways to remind them that if they were at school, their teacher would not be able to help them find the answer. So the same thing is true when they're at home. If they're not using their scratch paper, encourage them to do that. For their reading passage, remind them, okay, go back and read the passage. See if you can find the answer in there. Those are some strategies that you can do. But most importantly, again, after the assessment, please encourage. I am proud of you for completing that. I know that it was difficult, but you took your time and you did your best. Great encouragement words. So, couple of just quick reminders. Tell them to take their time, not to rush. Read each question and answer choice carefully. And just like if we were at school, we cannot help you because your teachers cannot help you. So, therefore, family members cannot help. A great idea, an activity to do this coming weekend might be to set a goal with your child to do my best on I Ready. What are you going to do? What can you do to do your best on I Ready? Are you going to use scratch paper? Are you going to work quietly? Are you going to make sure that you double check your answers? Talk with your child. What are some strategies that they can use? But most importantly, the parent's goal is your most important job is give them support, provide them a quiet, let them focus, and encourage the students. That's what we ask. And that is the most important part for parents to do during this assessment. Thank you so much. And we look forward to continually working with you.